Deep within the lost city of Itzel lies a magic workshop, a mix of arcana and machinery. Centuries ago, this used to be the workstation for 4 formidable mages until their new magical invention, the equivalent of an atomic bomb spell, erupted. While this slowed the explosion to an absolute crawl, preventing a true cataclysmic event, it did freeze the entire region, killing everyone who lived there. The home of this hubris, this tragedy, this workshop is the map we embark on creating today. As I kickstarted this map, I had in mind that I wanted to have some funky fresh flooring. However, as I began placing items, the excessive flare on the ground meant that when combined with the furniture the room had, it was just too garish. In turn, we needed something less intense. I think if this is what we're going to put down for here though, what this sort of means is that like the floor needs to be more chill. The floor at the moment is like pretty unchill. Yeah, maybe something like this. Like I definitely think I want to do tiles of some kind. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's a bit better. This would be something I'd figure out properly much later in the piece because the more items added, the more the floor needed to be simpler. The first major furnishing we'd tackle would be the centerpiece of the room, the exploding atomic bomb spell. The Tesla coil would act as a preliminary staging ground, something we'd surround with a barrage of pipes. While I considered having the connecting pipes and machines much more askew, I would decide against this, mostly going back to the fairly parallel and perpendicular stylings I do with all the machinery I place. Although this time I did place them slightly angled, so ooh, different. With some of the machinery down, I realized this whole thing might be improved when combined with magic. We've been combining these with mainly other machinery. We can do some of the machinery, but I think almost having it be like some of the wizard stuff and having more of that magic-y element come into it. Yeah, like having these here. Ooh, summoning circle. Ooh, yeah, we'll definitely include some of this stuff. I really wanted this place to feel like a combination of magic and science. Narratively, this workshop was working on industrial modernization in the context of a fantasy world. They are making an atom bomb spell equivalent using new scientific methods that allow them to make spell components more powerful than anything previously available. So the surrounding assets should endeavor to visually reflect this combination. While this would be true for the map as a whole, I wanted this to especially be true for the actual atom bomb explosion, so we'd venture to represent this. I like the idea of broken test tube, and I think we will use that. Let's check wizard, but let's see if there's like an explosion. An explosion. I don't think there is. Ooh. Effects. Fire? Ooh, okay. This is kind of a good yeah. I was thinking it needed to be more, it needed to have more zhuzh, but it's like, yeah, this is kind of working for me. Yeah, I like the manufacturing. There's just an electricity thing and there's a big explosion on top. But I think we can maybe add a bit more accoutrements as far as maybe like wizard summoning circle that are like very closely connected to it. So maybe we can actually put this like broken summoning circle underneath it. Yeah, maybe this can go down. Yeah, okay, cool. I think this is good because then you sort of have the magic here underneath it. You sort of have the machinery of this, and then you have the explosion. And that kind of combines the 3 elements. Awesome. As I moved to the alchemy station, I made a few plans on how to distinguish the various areas. So like maybe we create this left side is a bit more of like the wizard section, and then this side over here is a bit more of like the manufacturing section, and we can kind of divide it in half like that. I think, that's fine. And maybe we don't do it perfectly in half. It doesn't have to be like split down the middle. Like we can have maybe a bit of wizard over here, a bit of manufacturing over here. We can combine it together, but let's do it kind of like that, where they're sort of sectioned off just a little. This sectioning would be good for 2 reasons. The first is that the distinctive pockets give a lot more variance to the map and make the whole thing more engaging. The second reason is that this would prompt us to divide the room into 4 corners, one for each of the mages that worked here, visually characterizing these now deceased but sort of important NPCs. Our 4-player one-shot that this room is created for also ends in this room, with each member of the party looking for a different item that's contained here. So it would place the 3 items they're searching for in different sections, with the 4th being in the center, cause it's the bomb. So one of the things we're gonna need in this room is that the party specifically, certain members of them at least, need to find items. And some of these key items I think are, just magical spell books that sort of get through across a lot of the power. That's gonna be one of them. We also need to have green crystals or something that can sort of make green crystals. So I think we can have maybe a manufacturing machine for down here. Then we also need to have the schematics or the information on how to make the atomic bomb, because those are 3 things that our specific roles are trying to find, and we need to place them on the map specifically. So if they get into this room and they start to make investigation checks, you know, that they can be here. I think as far as the schematics, I think we can have it as this. I think it makes a lot of sense, and we'll just put it here right in front. As far as the green crystal machine, like I said, I might make something very specifically down here. The spell books, I think we could have maybe a little like mage corner. Even though this is mostly going to be like, obviously sort of a workshop, like that's the energy, right? I think having maybe like a little section, like a reading nook section or like a little study area might be nice. So if we get like some desks on the map, yeah, we can have a broken fancy desk. Not that everything here needs to be broken, but I think having certain broken elements is going to be good. With the blueprint in mind, we'd start to work away at the vision. I should also mention in regards to the broken material, I imagine that the initial bomb blast shattered and broke some of the stuff in the room. However, the time freeze spell massively softened this blast, which is why not everything in the room is broken. Furthermore, the freezing effect of this spell also helped preserve basically everything in the room. So even though it's all over 700 years old, it's not completely deteriorated. This is the vision I was trying to implement, and so far it was going good, but I realized that the vibrancy didn't really make sense with the ethos I was going for. And then a tactic that someone suggested once: advanced settings, filters, saturation, and we're going to crank that to like full gray. Yeah, it really lost its color over the years, barely recognizable, very, very gray. Awesome. I mean, even maybe we should like desaturate a lot of this stuff. Yeah, I think that purple can be like a lot grayer. Maybe this desk is a lot grayer. Ooh, yeah, I like bringing the sort of grayness to all of this. Yeah, and I kind of like these concoctions maybe becoming a bit more gray as well. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Awesome. Because it's like, we do want a little bit of that vibrancy, but it's like making the whole thing desaturated. It's bringing like a kind of, you know, it's making everything like duller and grimmer. And it's like, it's a grim place. There's not reason for it to be vibrant. And then I think we can still have these like glowing pretty brightly, and that can sort of be maybe a standout. Like they're magical, so they sort of have a level of continuation where it's like some of the sort of oceans and stuff have dulled over the years. Maybe, or maybe I go and desaturate them as well. No, I like the sort of vibrancy of it, but desaturating has definitely been a good choice. With this, I would finish up the wizard's study, scattering the room with scrolls, broken books, and a slew of random wizardy-esque trinkets. Moving on, I wanted to tackle the idea of the green crystals, which would be the energy source the wizards use to make the atomic bomb spell. It's basically magical uranium. To achieve this effect, I wanted to create a machine that makes these crystals. I think the crystals can be made by maybe a combination of the yellow and blue, you know, color matching. That's fun. While they had blue crystals, they didn't have yellow crystals, something which could have been an issue, but I just narrativized that the yellow crystals weren't there. They're just not there for whatever reason, and that's an easy solution. As I kept going, I placed some machinery with a mix of magic items and test tubes, making it a real mix of the elements, which in the end I think did a good job of creating the artifice that this machine was used to produce refined green crystal matter. Yeah, I really like the idea that's like, you know, this is sort of the green crystal machine. You start here, there's blue crystals, pretty kind of indicated that yellow crystals go here. Well, that's sort of how they're made. So, you know, the mining person can figure it out. You know, we have the yellow and blue on this, but this is where they're sort of condensed and crushed together. This is sort of where maybe some magical gas is flowed in and there's some connectivity of some pressure and whatever. Then it goes to sort of a bit more of a magical sundial, which is controlled by maybe fluids and a generator. And then it sort of plops out these pure balls of crystal energy. You know, these crystals are a bit more unrefined, but I like the idea that it's like there's the refinement of these, right? They're like fully condensed crystal balls at this point, pure crystal energy, and that's one of the reasons they're so powerful. With only one real space remaining on the map, I'd think about what to put here. I don't think this needs to be like the most dense map. You know, it can be just a little like workshop energy, but it's like, you know, what could go here? And I would like it to be something that's like maybe a little bit different, because it's like we kind of have a bit of an alchemy station. We have quite a bit of manufacturing going up here. We have a little study here. Like, what's maybe something that could go there that would sort of make sense? if you know what I mean. While I thought about it for a while, a unique area eluded me, which is fine. Sometimes you don't need to be overly inventive, and going basic is all good. In this case, I sort of dropped some desks down and made this where the other mages would have had their shared workstation. A simple and easy solution that overall looks fine. I also placed 4 skeletons on the map to represent the mages' corpses, which I think is just kind of fun narrative. Speaking of simple though, with each area complete, the mystery of the floor pattern needed to be tackled, and simple white tiles would be the perfect solution. I think this is it. It's a little bit grimy, but they're nice white tiles. They're a really neutral color in the back. They interact with the grid super well, so the grid is every 4 tiles, which is really, really nice. Like if we were to up it, I think it just would automatically, terrible. And this is a big issue we're having, where it's like a lot of the tiles were just interacting so weirdly with the grid, but that, al presto. And with only a few more tweaks to the map, we were done. I really like this as a workshop. It was kind of tricky in some ways, but I really like the idea of like truly trying to meld magic and machinery together. And I think we did a good job. Like we have our sort of machinery section here, and we have sort of our magic-y section here, and then we have some books because they're sort of researchers, they're wizards, that's one of the things they would be doing. But you know, as far as our like atomic bomb spell, like I kind of like the idea that, you know, you have this sort of summoning circle and you have the Tesla coil. Yeah, I think we did a good job. We have a couple different segments. We kind of melded it together. There's narrative going on here. It's going to be a good final place for the big fight at the end. So very sort of exciting. I think it's going to be good. And that's the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're keen for some more D&D creation content. If you're interested in using this map in your campaign, then it's available on Etsy or on the Patreon, where you can support the channel and get access to every map and module I've ever made. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Bye.